Brendan, congratulations on the film. I really enjoyed it. To start with the production side, right? You got Ben Affleck directing this. You got Leonardo DiCaprio production. Do names like that draw you to movies like this, or is it all about the script when you look at projects?
It's the script, yeah. But obviously, having a director of Ben Affleck's authority would be a big thing as well.
Yeah.
Plus, playing his dad was kind of. There's a lot going on there.
There is indeed.
It's a good part.
It's a great part.
Yeah.
And when somebody's directing, obviously Ben is in it as your son, and he's directing. Are they running back and forth behind the camera, and then they're beside you? Is it a weird scenario?
No, you have to be quite disciplined. You know, he was very prepared. Took his time to set up the shot, and then there was kind of calm. You know, when he had to sit in and be an actor. So you just make space. To be able to switch.
Okay.
And no, it was very calm. He's a very calm director anyway. You know, he's completely on top of it. You know, he's good. He actually knows what he's doing. So it was interesting watching him. You know.
And when you see somebody doing that, you've obviously seen it before, does it inspire you at all? Because I couldn't believe when I looked, you've never directed them. You've done 95 movies, it says on IMDb, right? So we all know you've done amazing movies, and a lot of them.
Is it?
Yeah, well, but it's a great back catalogue, but you've never directed. Is that like something you're just not interested in at all, or will we ever see you do anything?
Well, I was trying to get it to Two Birds Made for a long time, but that passed by for a while, so that might happen again. I might do a short or something like that over the next year or two.
Yeah.
I would only do it if I felt that there was something I wanted to do that couldn't have been done better by somebody else. In other words, it was a personal kind of a vision. I don't do it as a way of life or just to fill out a CV. I did it on stage. I directed a couple of plays, years ago, and I enjoyed the experience of that. All right, but I prefer to be out there.
Doing what you do best, I suppose. Sienna Miller, obviously, in this as well. Was she fun to work with? And she's an Irish accent in this, so did she ask you for any tips at all?
No, she didn't. I had to leave her alone because it's always intimidating when somebody comes from wherever you're supposed to be from.
Yeah.
And if you get too detailed about, we get so anal about, what is that North County Dublin, or is that West County Cork, or is it like Cork City? And it's like... so you can't really get that frantic about it. I think she's brilliant. Her character was completely convincing for me from the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, if she asked me a question, I was always there. But it's like you can cause more trouble than help really if you're not careful.
And you've done a lot of movies where you can have an Irish accent in it. Is that a choice when you're looking at scripts as well? Do you go, brilliant, there's a bit of Irishness in this project?
Well, it leaves... It's an interesting one because I always love the challenge. I'm interested in accents and the way people speak, and it's a way into a character if you can kind of figure out the accent and the modulations, the way people think, the way people speak, then reflects that sense of humour and stuff like that can be tied up in accents. So it's a great way into diverse characters if you can kind of nail that in any reasonable way and understand what's behind it,
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's yet another layer of kind of artifice that you have to kind of... like John Hurt always said that an accent has to be part of your DNA as against something that you impose or that you have to just jump into. Be careful with accents that you don't just play the accent. Okay. So it is a bit of a relief to go to something that is like an international big American gangster movie and not have to worry about that particular layer, that you can kind of go in as an Irishman in that particular time where there would have been loads of Irish cops. And play someone that's totally authentic in a different setting, but not have to worry about, you getting the integrity of the accent, other than that it's who he should be, So yeah, it was a relief to just be able to go and do it and sit easy in that regard,
Yeah. In the film, your character, it says something like, you make your own luck, but sometimes luck makes you. I was wondering, do you believe in either of those? Do you think you make your own luck, or does luck
I believe
make
both
you?
Of them.
Yeah, the acting world.
Like all those cliches, there's truth in it, and there's truth in both sides, and sometimes the truth is one, and sometimes it's the other, and sometimes in between. It's like I do think you can force the issue a little bit if you can, and you can be prepared for when something happens. So that if you get a lucky break, you've kind of prepared for it, and there's an awful lot to be said for that. And on the other hand, you can prepare a long time, and the break doesn't happen, or whatever it is. You don't just, the luck isn't with you. So yeah, there's truth in both sides, of course.
Okay. And in terms of the Irish film industry and Irish actors, we seem to be doing really well abroad at the moment. So like films like Brooklyn and all sorts getting nominated for Oscars and everything. Do you think there's enough money? Because I saw recently you said that you didn't think there was enough money being pumped into the arts in Ireland and things like that. Do you think it's doing the right thing at the moment? Or
I
is
just
it
think we
wrong
have to be careful, that we can we loved all the reflected glory of all what, anytime we get an international success or whatever, or even just with things like Irish music and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of actually supporting them, you're kind of saying, well, wouldn't the money be better spent elsewhere? I think we have to kind of respect the integrity of the arts as something to actually pay for and invest in and encourage in every way. I mean, obviously not just financially, but finances sometimes are required, and you have to take a hit sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you're not going to get good experimental, proper, cutting-edge artistic endeavor if you're not prepared to lose something. Excuse me. So if you're gonna invest in films, chances are you might lose a few bob. I think it's worth it to put our culture out there, both for ourselves and then, obviously for the greater world. But yeah, I do feel that we have to kind of readjust a little bit and put our money where our mouth is a little bit more than we do.